Ladies and gentlemen, the other day we drafted a team with Pat Crane as part of his legendary Upside anniversary mega stream. And, it left a poor taste in our mouth. We didn't really hit our marks. We didn't really stick the landing. And Pat, Ben, and I blame it on Mike Leone. And tonight, the three of us are going to draft a good team without Michael Leone.
Pat Fryer Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Handjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar. Alpha play chase.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
You can't handle the heat.
It looks like we're finally this boys. You're right.
Thanks, Leone. Ben Gretsch, Pat Crane. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing good, Gretsch. How about you?
How did you not realize he just did a cold open? How did you not know the music was playing? Pete was talking.
What's going on with Gretsch?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know
what's happening with the Gretsch.
I can hear just now.
Crazy.
Dude, I was sitting here, I flipped on Twitter, I was in the room, and I had my AirPods in, and they weren't hooked up to the Bluetooth. I just started recently using the AirPods a few weeks back, but there's the first time I've done that, where I just got lost on Twitter and didn't realize we had started.
Wow. I mean,
let's go!
Your audio sounds worse than normal, too. I think
it does. I think it's connected through the AirPods.
Okay, Let's get that fixed, too. Oh, yeah, it's not on my Yeti.
Now Yeti. Does that sound better?
That sounds better.
There we go.
I was saying what's up to you guys before the stream. I made a joke. No one
laughed.
No laugh at all. I was like, all right, I guess it's that kind of night.
Well, can I reveal why this wasn't normal for me? So normally I do wear headphones on the streams, but tonight I'm rocking the new I Love Wide Receiver Bucket hat, and the headphones beautiful. Are just like don't really work on it. So I'm going with a Bluetooth speaker for my speakers. So I was fiddling with that. Gretsch didn't even know we were starting, and you were apparently talking to yourself.
I was, and then I watched you guys, but like Gretsch was engaged with obviously with Twitter, but he didn't seem like he was just like thinking. Like he was sort of just like.
I mean, a valid option.
Not for me. I was like, okay.
Yeah, we've been doing this show.
We've done this before.
Still haven't really figured it out. Gretsch, are you good now? You good?
I'm good. I mean, I was on a bachelor party this weekend. Maybe I'm still hungover from that. Who knows? But yeah, dude, I've been doing some traveling over the last month. Good to be back in the lab. No more trips planned. Last week I was at a lake in Washington for half the week with my wife's family. Came back home for one night, then flew out to Park City, Utah for a bachelor party for a 3-day weekend. Long, like 8 to 10 days in the sun in both places. Played golf like 4 times, like twice at both places. I'm like just getting my sleep back.
What everyone wants to know is how many more slow drafts did you enter? How many fast drafts did you get in on the bachelor party?
Tell us about your life.
This is great. I only got 2 fast drafts. One of them was from the airport to the house, and I let my buddy hold the phone, and it was like a disaster. I was like, dude, but people are gonna see my name in this draft. Like, come on, man. Like, give me the phone back.
Oh,
like, this is bad. Not a good team. I only did one more throughout the weekend. We were just like going the whole time. Did some mountain biking, all sorts of crazy stuff. And then at the very last day, literally at the airport, I was like, I got to get in some of these slows. I haven't like been able to draft at all. And so I entered 40. It wasn't really enough. I should have entered more. I mean, with the slow puppy, like it's only like $5 to fire on it. I should have entered more.
I need to do that.
I honestly should have done like 100. But whatever. I got in 40.
40, yeah. I think I only got in a few of the fast puppies. It was interesting the fact that because the Pomeranian, was that the one that filled like within 3 hours and it was almost because of slow drafters. For some reason I thought the slow draft one would fill first, just with everyone like max regging. But
I think it makes sense because people would rather fast draft but like that it's not gonna like. I would do the slow draft Pomeranians because I was like, I got to get the Pomeranians in, and the only way I'm going to get them all in is with slow drafts. But if it's a fast draft only draft, I would attack that one first, I think. Although I've yet to do in either, so this is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
The chat wants to know my DeMarcus Robinson exposure. It is 0 at the moment, but you know what? It's gonna tick up at some point.
The fast puppy filled, right?
I took Gretch today at the end of my Swolecast Best Ball Mania draft. I took Cordero Patterson. So
I thought you were going to say DeMarcus.
No, but my point was going to be it took this long for your Cordero Patterson take to finally hit for me.
That was your first one?
Month. I'll start taking DeMarcus Robinson with my last one.
That was your first Cordero?
Maybe I took him one other time.
I have 18% Cordero Patterson.
What could go wrong?
I mean, that's just the 35 completed drafts from the last one, or 37 or whatever I have. Someone asked how many I'm on the clock in. It's a lot of puppies, but we are on the clock in that many right now. I got to figure that out.
That's not too bad.
This is a good one here. Gretch, did you see the new Seattle uniforms here?
Those are sick. They're
very cool. Yeah. Did you see these, Matt?
I saw Jackson Smith and Jigba. Oh yeah.
They had a very cool video promo here too that had the whole like 80s, early 90s vibe here with JSN rolling up. Coming in.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. The Kingdom. Oh, is that the Rain Man? John Kemp? Oh man.
These are better. These are definitely better.
Yeah, they're very fun.
I didn't see this. I heard that he didn't know what a Walkman was before he did this. They had to tell him what a Walkman was.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did you guys have Walkman? Did you actually own them?
I did.
Yeah. Me too.
That was like in high school when I would listen to music before my basketball games. I had like my Discman and like the over-the-ear headphones, and everyone's like holding their thing. Like even in warm-ups, you got like one hand doing like layups, and you're holding your Discman, and the other one. Man.
Yeah. Wait, Denny didn't like the uniforms? It's been a rough week for Denny. Denny didn't like the uniforms according to the chat.
Of course he didn't. Good Lord. There was the CD Walkmans too after a while, and those that I always skip. Like
those skip. Yeah, I had one of those too. Yeah, what? It didn't. CDs, man, not the best technology.
What's crazy? Magnova JSN was born in 2002. That was literally the year that I was listening to my Discman in the layup line before JV basketball games. And JSN was born that same year. Jesus.
2002. Holy shit.
Yeah.
JSN's parents know what Walkmans are. that's where we are.
Yeah. The Bucks creamsicle ones are pretty solid too. Did you guys see those? The Chris Godwin photo?
Dude, to JSN, like an iPod is probably like an old man device.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was probably like 7 when those were like phased out, basically.
The other day, Lauren had found like one of her really old iPod shuffle somewhere. Oh, she was cleaning out her car, and she's like, "Do we need this for any purpose?" I was like, "I don't think I have a use case for an iPod shuffle in my life."
It's like just a.
What about a CD?
Like a smart version of a phone, basically.
Yeah.
My wife still has I mean, she doesn't have a ton of DVDs. Maybe it's like 20, but she still has like 20 DVDs of like her favorite movies. I'm like, you're never gonna watch these. We don't even have a DVD player. I don't even think we have the capability of plugging this in somewhere.
Yeah.
What
records are kind of back. There's like
yeah.
That's still kind of a vintage thing.
Yeah.
Have you guys dabbled in that? Have you guys gotten a record player or anything?
Yeah, I did. And I just, it was what happened to me, Pat, is I have an addictive personality, and I started buying a bunch of records, and I was like, this is going to get expensive.
Records aren't cheap, because I've kind of looked at maybe doing this very thing, and it's like, they're not inexpensive.
They're not. I just cut myself off, especially if you're starting to get, and then you go down the rabbit hole if you go vintage shopping and you're going in a
Right.
record store, and it's like a nice hobby, but it's time consuming and expensive.
It looks like they're
How
like-
much is it?
Like 15,
For
20 bucks a pop or something. So nothing, it's not crazy, but it's kind of just like it's an inefficient way to get your music. But
Yeah.
because I was also
That's
reading
the way,
before, like,
I mean, that's what
you should-
CDs used to be. Like
Right,
that was crazy
right.
back in the day.
Yeah. Apparently you're supposed to get your records in person because it's like it's better for like everybody involved, I guess. Like people that own the business, it's somehow better for the musicians, I heard. But then also it's like a physical thing, so you want to make sure it doesn't have scratches and all that stuff. But I'm like, the only way I really want to do this is like find some bulk record delivery thing where I can get them very cheaper, you know what I mean? But whatever.
Ned says vinyl market bubbled up during COVID. Isn't that hilarious too?
Oh,
Because
that's
the
funny.
sports card market, all those old school physical hobbies came back because we just were all so desperate to do something.
We got no live sports, got nothing to do. Watched all the TV shows that were available, watched them all in the first month, and then you're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I've had the 105 in a lot of drafts, in this range in a lot of drafts, and I feel like I build really similar teams. So I'm really interested in this draft slot with you guys. Like, I want to know what you guys want to do on this.
It's not my favorite spot.
I love it.
Well,
I've really enjoyed it.
It
might
might
be my
you guys
favorite
think more there.
Yeah.
My favorite
I-
is 3 right now.
Well, when McCaffrey goes at 3, that actually helps a decent
Oh.
bit. Holy
I love Cup. I love taking Cup.
I
That's
get a
why
ton
like
of Cup
him
at
so much.
5. Yeah.
really? God.
I don't get much
Cup
Cup
at 5 is a luxury for me. I never
Oh, dude, I have so much Cup. Oh my god, I have way too much Cup. I hope he stays healthy. I'm
I
checking
love
that
Cup.
exposure next.
I did
21% Cooper Cup right now. Like that's just where I draft in that
Beautiful,
spot,
man.
that
That's a
range.
beautiful thing.
Yeah. Feel very
Pat-
fortunate.
both my drafts this morning on Best Ball Breakfast with Pat and Sean started with Cooper Cup, but those were from the 3-hole, both of them, because in my drafts, like he very rarely slips past 4. The other
So the reason I like this so much is Sean and I were talking about our last Stealing Bananas was about the late first, early second, that 108, 109 range through the early second round is sort of like a big tier. But there is a difference between the early part of the second round and the late part of the second round. So the later drafters lose in the first round, but I do think, or we think, that you gain back some of that in the second round. When you're at 5, sometimes you get a guy who belongs in that 1-2 turn to pair with a Cooper Cup, and it feels like a cheat code to me. I don't want to throw out names yet, but if we get an opportunity, I will name some names.
Well, I love that thinking. Yeah, I mean, this is if I can get a Cup here, then yeah, 5 is my favorite spot because I think this is where you have a chance to get a really strong second round pick, a lot stronger than the Justin Jefferson drafter gets, or even the Chase drafter. And Cup is, I mean, at his ceiling can produce like those guys.
And then the third round, you can still get these running backs that are, especially right now, like I entered all these slows. Brees is falling, Ramondre's falling, Jacobs is falling. You can get all these guys at 305 all day. No one wants to take them.
Well, so I actually did bump Ramondre down in my rankings with this Fournette thing. I feel like the Patriots are telling us every way they can they don't want him to be what we want him to be.
Wow. So that run out kind of sucked. I'd be down for Barkley, but Taylor's one of the big ones, and then Olave is kind of the fallback for me.
Pollard is my fallback here.
Yeah, I would be Smith or Pollard.
Saquon gives you the week 17 correlation.
We got to push him with the. He might come back around.
Barkley's going to keep.
I'm okay with Pollard or Smith.
Who do you want, Gretch?
Okay.
Pollard or Smith?
Pollard's fine. Whatever. Smith's fine.
Yeah, the Barkley's falling to at least the 2-3 turn in a lot of these, and I don't know. Like you read the quotes with his stuff, and he's talking about my leverage is holding out. Really stick it to him. Like I do think he's going. I don't think it's going to result in him not playing games, but I do think he might draw this out enough to where the market reacts to it and they get spooked by it.
I think they're going to react to it in the short term. And then after like a week or 2 weeks, the reaction stops and you're like, oh, that discount is over. Like, what was the other
But at
one we were
least
just
try to
talking
get the
about?
discount, right?
Yesterday we were
Jacobs,
talking.
Ramondre.
There was somebody yesterday. You said you were letting him fall for a week,
Burks.
and then you like
Burks. Oh,
Burks.
Brees I let fall for a week, and then
and then you were like, screw it, I'm going to keep drafting him, which is sort of the way that I end up reacting to. I think the market ends up reacting that way too. They just get back to anchoring to the price, like, and so there's like a small window in my mind where you actually get these really ridiculous prices. In my slows, I took a lot of Brees, a lot of Ramondre, and a lot of Jacobs at like 308, 309, because I'm like, there's not a lot of teams that have been built with these guys here, and I do think they're not going to stay back there. And, well, at least that would be my read on the way the market will act over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's just that I don't want to take him. I don't want to take like Barkley here because I'm not getting any discount. In fact, I'm almost reaching a little bit relative to what his ADP will probably be, this week. I think
they're all
I am taking him in the third round for sure.
Yeah, I think they're all talking a big game right now. It'll be interesting to see what actually ends up happening, but I guess I don't think that they're actually all going to hold out on these deals. Like the franchise tag guys are getting an opportunity to make a lot of money in 1 year relative to like potential career earnings and all those things. I know Jacobs has made some comments where like it's not about him, it's about other guys that come after him. I understand like all of that stuff, but I mean, they don't have a ton of earning power already, and to pass up 10 million even over just 1 year is like they should.
Who do you like here?
I like the running backs or Andrews personally, but
me too.
I could go
in Andrews for me.
I was gonna say let's do Andrews. I feel like
we already took Pollard.
Yeah,
Andrews,
today was about the worst possible day for Ramondre and Brees Hall. The Dalvin Cook rumors heating up for both. Then you have Leonard Fournette doing a tryout in New England, and then you have Brees Hall getting put on the PUP list. And again, I think none of that is going to meaningfully change their like full season upside when it's all said and done. But again, to the same thing with Barkley, like cheaper prices are coming on these guys. So I don't know, just like people said,
I guess, although I really have to say, I mean,
if Lenny signs with New England, my argument in my like newsletter, like where I will make the argument, like it couldn't be a better situation. Like talent still matters. Leonard Fournette
for Lenny
has been
or for Ramondre.
For Ramondre, I mean, it's not
bad
great.
For Ramondre.
It's obviously bad for Ramondre, but relative to the way that the market will respond, it almost couldn't be a better situation to get Ramondre, because we were just talking, I think, last week, Pat, about how he was really effective in some of the advanced rushing metrics. Leonard Fournette was bad, like below.
He had a decent success rate.
Level.
His breakaway stuff. Yeah, he said 40% success rate, I believe.
I mean,
his yards per out run was solid as well.
That's why I have an issue with success rate, honestly, because like there's stuff like that where it's like, okay, but like I watched the guy, he was fucking dust last year. He was terrible.
Well, his rush yards over expected was terrible. I mean, they measure different things, right? Success rate is like, are you gaining a half a yard more than expected on a given play? Then success. Are you gaining 40 yards on that play? Also just success. So it's going to reward guys who are reliable in certain ways, but don't have any explosion, which sums up Fournette pretty well. I mean, he's never been explosive, and now he's getting older.
So I think he was reliable a couple years ago. I think in 2023, pretty quickly, Belichick will be like, I have a good running back and I have a bad running back, and I'm going to play the good one. And he's gone away from wanting to use multiple backs. Like I think a few years back, he had the Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis role and the James White role, and he was tipping the run pass stuff too much. And since then, I think New England has tried a little bit more to not tip their run pass with their running back, whoever's on the field. And Stevenson, like we talked a little bit about how he wasn't great as a receiver, but he's competent, and I think they would just leave him on the field. I mean,
check the yards per hour was fine for Lenny last year. He didn't fall off. He was above his career high last year.
Right, but I don't think they would do what I'm saying is I don't think they would do like a Ramondre as the lead rusher and then Lenny's like the lead pass. He might be a third down back because it tips that what their play call is. Like on third and long, they might do it, but they used to do it on like early downs too, and it would tip to the defense what their play call was based on basically the running back that was on the field, and they seem to not care about that. Gibbs falls all the way to year 2. Jeez.
Can we afford it, or should we go Watson? Watson, yeah, I'm good with Watson.
Gretch, are you tempted by the Gibbs? Just remember, these
I'm tempted. I've had a few drafts where I've done 3 detours early because I've been in spots like this, but I'm fine with Watson.
Right. I'm saying like in the slow draft rooms, the 3D tours, like I do those all the time in slow draft rooms, but you get punished with our crew in here tonight.
Fair.
I don't think, Lenny is not very good, but I don't think he tips your hand on the play call because he's huge. Like if you want to slam Lenny up the middle of the line, like that's fine. That's the thing he does. Like he will run up the middle.
Sure. I'm saying I don't think they will have specific roles. I agree. I don't think they'll have specific roles, and then I think it'll immediately be clear that Ramondre is a superior player, and he'll be on the field a lot more. Like it'll be 80-20 or 70-30, enough that Ramondre's like there's obviously not 90% workloads at running back or snap shares at running back. It's not frequent. He'll be 70%. Lenny will be 30%, and we won't be that worried about Ramondre. Ramondre will like be the clear lead from a talent perspective. I don't know. That's the way I would see that playing out. That's why I said it's good. It's not good from like a projection standpoint or anything. Obviously, there's concern. Lenny can do all this stuff. I just think like part of the bet on Ramondre is he's good enough that Belichick will lean into using him in a way that he doesn't always lean into using his running backs. But he does sometimes when the guy's like demonstrably better than his other options. And I think
this is basically the argument I made for Ramondre when they signed James Robinson. So I get what you're saying.
Right.
I just think Fournette like has enough left in the tank and is annoying because he's like huge. We should pick. Do you want to do?
I've been kind of wanting to get a little bit more Christian Kirk, but I'm open to other ideas.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get some receivers. It's that or just grab Godwin, which I have so much fucking Chris Godwin.
I'm ready to chill on Kirk. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm trying to lower my exposure on Godwin too.
Like what I find annoying about Fournette is that like he is big. He can handle short yardage stuff. His success rate wasn't terrible last year, which would be another thing. Like you only do need like half a yard more than expected if you're at the goal line, So that could be an issue. He handles the dump off stuff pretty well. Like he gets up to speed really slowly, but like he's hard to bring down. So you can kind of like in those little dump offs where he starts rumbling, he's not like horrendous. So he strikes me as a potential thorn in the side of another running back. In a way that, like, I'm even
that generally, but I just feel like as far as Ramondre is concerned, like I think Dalvin Cook has enough left in the tank that it could be an issue, right? But like Ramondre is just as big as Lenny. He's everything you're saying, but younger and probably more explosive at this point. I would say definitely more explosive at this point.
Ramondre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not disagreeing with that. I wouldn't
imagine. No. Ramondre is way better than Lenny right now. Like he definitely is. But it's just like they're talking up Ty Montgomery. They're like talking about signing down with Cook. Then they bring in Leonard Fournette for a workout. I mean, like
all of that is concerning.
Tell you what they want to do. Believe them. You know what I mean? Like I just don't.
See,
like
that's where we've talked before recently about how one of the edges left in the market at this stage in fantasy football is like running back talent, like actually betting into the guy that can differentiate on the field to where the coaches are like, yeah, we got to play the guy who's just better. Like it's just obvious on Sundays who the better player is. And there are running backs that are better than other running backs. As much as we say running back doesn't matter and this and that, like some guys look more explosive. Yeah, it certainly matters. I know you're on this with me. We've talked about this before. I think this is a great application of it where like everything you're saying, I think is relevant, but that the market will overplay it to the extent that I will then want to make a bet on Ramondre from a talent perspective is basically what I'm saying. Like at 307 or whatever, I want to bet on Ramondre's profile. Like I think his upside, and all I'm competing with is a Dusty Lenny and Ty Montgomery. Like, I mean, think about Ramondre's case. Like 307? Are you fucking kidding me? That's incredible. He's a 227-pound back that can catch.
We're on the clock. Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, Tony Dotson, Gabe Davis, George Pickens, the best wide receivers available.
I think we go with one of the wide receivers. I'm open.
Yeah, I'd probably go Evans in that.
I like Evans.
Range.
All right, let's do Evans.
Evans is a guy I'm trying to take more of going forward.
I wanted to hit this one because I thought this was so Dave pulling up what ended up being a hindsight 2v2 for us. I'm curious what you guys, Pollard and Watson, who we have, versus what could have been Devonta and Gibbs. Thoughts?
Devonta Gibbs, I think.
Yeah.
Really? I think I'm Pollard Watson.
Okay. I'm not really in on Watson.
I think it's really close.
I think it's close too.
I just think Gibbs is reasonably close to Pollard.
I
think Gibbs is I think I projected Gibbs for more points than Pollard.
Really?
I mean, I projected Zeke on Dallas, so that's a huge caveat there. I did. I have them back to back, like identical. And actually, in half, I have Pollard higher. I have this sorted by full.
Yeah.
And I projected Zeke. So that's not. I mean, that's If Zeke doesn't sign with them, Pollard's case is a lot higher.
Our team, for the audio listeners, we mentioned that 2v2. We do have no quarterbacks. Tony Pollard at running back, Cooper Kupp, Christian Watson, Christian Kirk, Mike Evans at wide receiver, and Mark Andrews at tight end here.
I want to hit on Gibbs. Nobo Sock says I don't know what to expect from him. I think he's a really interesting conversation, but we're about up right now.
Yeah, Gibbs.
Is that on Traylon in this range? Are we still waiting for cheaper prices than this?
I mean, this might as well be 95 in this room.
Right. In this room, we're getting him potentially at price unless he goes.
Burks does
there he
go.
goes, yeah. I mean, I'd be down to take Sanders, a huge ADP discount as our running back too. I think we could afford the detour. I don't know if he's worth the detour, but
the only other option is if you want to take Cooks and build out, like, you can get a Dak Faller at 117 and play like the Dallas angle.
I'd rather do that.
I would be Akers over Sanders, so let's just go Cooks.
Okay.
I'd
be
do
if
the
you want to do that. We could do Akers with the Cooper Kupp thing.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. Gibbs, 12th overall pick obviously is a big element, right? But I mean, I think when you do it from a projection standpoint, he's one where I got really excited because DeAndre Swift has had just absurd like targets per out run, receiving volume. Some of that's probably skill, but a lot of that is probably the offense. And Jared Goff, immobile quarterback, checks down, throws to the receivers a lot, or running backs a lot. And then you look at Gibbs' profile, and we've talked about it, Pat, and I'll let you expand on that more. But it's a ridiculous running back receiving profile. I know you emphasize yards per out run. It's something that I've picked up from you. And when he was at Georgia Tech, his 2 years there were just like absurd running back yards per out run numbers. Not as great in the SEC at Alabama last year, but still very, very good. I mean, he's like an incredible on paper running back receiving profile going into and like very clearly 1-for-1 replacing this DeAndre Swift role. And they didn't use a 12th overall pick. I mean, I know they spent a lot of money on David Montgomery. They didn't use a 12th overall pick to not utilize Gibbs. And that's like his role. The clear part of his role is the receiving side. It's like there's an obvious opportunity for him to get. I mean, I project him as a baseline for 81 targets and 61 catches. Like there's a huge chunk there. And the receiving stuff, even in half PPR, is massive. You get more yards per catch. You only get to half yards per reception, but more yards per catch than yards per carry, per rush attempt. They're still worth more, those touches. He's an explosive player. And then there's contingent upside. If something happens to David Montgomery or if he somehow falls into 200-plus carries, I mean, his ceiling, I think his ceiling's is reasonably close to Bijan's this year. Like, given his situation is better. Like, Bijan's situation, for me, a little bit of a concern for a guy whose profile is just absolutely incredible, obviously. But Gibbs steps into it.
For Bijan, they were an incredible rushing offense last year.
Hyper efficient on the ground.
The multiple backs, lack of overall volume, a little bit of a lack of passing. He's got a really good receiving profile, but I think it's tough to project him anywhere close to like Gibbs' receiving numbers. Obviously, you project him for a lot more rushing. But I think Algier's going to get used. I think, Arthur Smith was content to I just made up.
Montgomery's going to steal far more work from Gibbs than Algier is from Bijan.
Low value touches in that case. I think, Dave Montgomery will take low value touches from Gibbs.
What about the goal line work? I mean, that naturally goes to Montgomery.
Speak of the devil, Montgomery here is a pretty big smash.
I'm into it.
Sure.
Unless, do you have any other options? I don't want to lead the witnesses, but I don't.
No, I was eyeing him.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas, Detroit makes sense. He's got contingent. I mean, everything I'm talking about, he can catch 60 balls too, especially if Gibbs were to get hurt. It's a good running back situation. It's one of the best running back situations in the league. I'm not really trying to make a case that Bijan's is bad. I just think that Gibbs from a contingent upside perspective, if Montgomery went down or if he had the like Swift has had a role with Detroit over the last couple of years that like 2 years ago was good enough that last year we drafted him at the 1-2 turn, right? Like that role was pretty valuable.
He was also a smash in the 4th round the year before, right?
Yeah.
Or the 3rd, 4th. I think we got him at the 3-4 turn in that NFC draft that we
that was a crush. Yeah. And Gibbs could legit be better than Swift was in that role and potentially even get more work than Swift did. I obviously, realize he's competing with David Montgomery. It's more than Swift was competing with, but the Lions like always seem to not really trust Swift's health and all of that. And then they went out and they drafted Gibbs 12th overall, and they're like, we're in love with this dude. Like everything you hear about, they fucking love him. And they made that decision after they had Montgomery on the roster. I mean,
the issue is I think with Gibbs, when you look at like guys that even if you, so I pulled up my profile of him, my comps, which are all pretty big stretches because he doesn't really comp like anybody. And this is something JJ Zachariason has talked about with like, there's haven't been that many backs that have entered the league that entered the league that even look like Gibbs in recent years, which makes him very difficult to kind of think through. What are we going to do with this pick here?
Yeah, so one thing to talk through. So as much as I said we might be able to push Dak, I doubt Nez is going to pass on him at 1.7 and 1.10. I don't necessarily want to reach for Dak. We also have a Goff out later. Just tossing that out there, though.
I kind of feel like we made the bet on Dak.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you want Dak, you got to do it now.
Let's just do it.
Let's do it. I think the other pick would be like Antonio Gibson. I think we get a similar in the 2v2 sense, a similar running back on the way back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gibson or whatever guy, I think.
Also, guys, we just the chat is just on fire wanting us to talk about Denzel Mims to the Lions. So
nice.
All right. Well,
did that happen?
Yes.
Let's finish up our relevant Lions talk first.
Denzel Mims to the Lions.
So my 3 statistical comps for Gibbs were Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Gainwell, and Rashad White, which I feel like the just like vast like range of that is also like he doesn't really comp like anybody, but even McCaffrey there, like McCaffrey came in at 202, Gibbs came in at 199. McCaffrey didn't become McCaffrey until his 2nd year, and my guess is that the Lions would plan, especially given that they signed Montgomery, would sort of plan to have Gibbs in a part-time role, bring him along, kind of feel out what he can do on early downs. He's a smaller back. I mean, he's not really like it's just a natural concern for him would be like, can he actually run between the tackles? The fact that they talk him up as he's not a running back is not the best thing for his rookie year value. Like I would like my running backs to play running back so they can get a ton of snaps and soak up all the touches. Not that he won't have value, but I think if we're talking about his ceiling outcomes, this is why I don't think his ceiling is very close to Bijan's unless Montgomery gets hurt, because he's probably getting used in a specialty role primarily.
That was the point.
Bijan's
it's contingent. Gibbs' contingent upside is where the ceiling really gets to that range. That was the case I was making. But the thing I would sort of disagree with on the McCaffrey point is just like, I mean, you sort of just said there's not really great comps, and then we're talking about like the specifics of how McCaffrey got brought along. Like that's
Christian McCaffrey is a fucking superstar, and he's a good rusher.
Yeah, it's just one situation though
with Jonathan Stewart. Like it's like that's. I mean, it is actually pretty similar.
If Panthers could go back, they wouldn't do that. They would use him full bore year one.
I think Ron Rivera would do it. I think he would do it again.
Okay, well, because he's a donkey.
Yeah.
So I want to make this pick, but I think Gibbs' situation is entirely different than that. I would take Penny here probably. I don't know about you guys. Or Damian Harris.
I would take Penny or Harris or Herbert or Mitchell, to be honest. So whoever you guys want.
I'm Penny, but
let's do Penny then.
We're all Penny, yeah.
Penny, I am worried Penny's going to fall because we're hearing like beat reporters. It's one of those things where I've been so annoyed by like the reaction to these reports that are like so fucking obvious. Like Breece Hall's like, we think he's going to play week 1. And then it's like, he's starting camp on the pup. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. Has to start.
But all it takes is like a couple smart people pointing that out. Like, I feel like Leone materially impacted the way DeAndre Hopkins is viewed by coming out and writing a smart thread about DeAndre Hopkins. Like,
I agree.
I mean, the market does
you
react, but the market's fucking fickle. Like, all it takes is like, you know, somebody like Leone being like, "This is dumb," and then the market reacts back the other way.
So what you're saying is we need to tell Leone to pump Penny's bags after this.
Yeah,
so
we
don't have
do need
regret.
to get that.
There's going to be some report on Penny not being a roster lock because the Beats have been saying he hasn't been a roster lock the whole. No,
that
exactly.
report's
That's
already existed.
It already
That's
exists,
already
but this is this whole week has been reports that already exist getting re-reported and people being like,
Exactly. It's fickle. The market does know best, as Joe points out, but the market is so fickle. Like, everybody wants to be ahead of CLV, and I think over time people are going to learn to be a lot more chill about the ways that they respond to this stuff as we move forward in a world where we play best ball year round. But like right now, everyone wants to get out in front of everything, and it's like it's crazy. Like what Pat just gave us an example of.
Yeah, well, I wish I had a full screen for that one when Pat just had his freak out moment there.
Perfect.
All right, where are we going here? Block here. Herbert does fall. I do like Herbert a good bit. I'm fine with Jacoby Myers if we want to get a sixth wide receiver here. What do you guys like?
So with the Penny plays the Giants week 16, we have Cup. We could get a late Giants receiver and get 16, 17 correlation, which makes me want to go running back here. I'm
down for Herbert.
Let's do Herbert.
I was like waiting for you, Ben. I was like, betting.
Where are you going? What are you talking about?
Talking about Wando Robinson for some reason.
Yeah. What's happening? What I was gonna say on the Gibbs thing, and like not to completely discount the McCaffrey point, I do think that's a possibility. Part of the reason I'm so excited about Gibbs is because I feel like he landed in the perfect situation for his skill set. He landed in a spot where like DeAndre Swift was running targets per out runs of 25% and higher every year of his career so far, and now he's gone. There's this huge opening. They took him 12th overall, way higher than it like expected, which 12th overall is 12th overall, but it's also 12th overall when we thought he would go like maybe in the first round. Maybe he was getting mocked as the 31st pick of the first round,
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's
totally.
like, it's super aggressive and they definitely want to use this guy. And then in terms of like, do the Detroit Lions, are they as a team on a 2-year timeline where they're thinking, oh, we might bring him along for next year? Like the Panthers were. Ron Rivera, I mean, yeah, like they were a winning team, but like I don't feel like they were like the Lions are trying to win this year. They're the favorite in the division. They have not won the division in like 30 years. They're going to go like if they think Jamir Gibbs gives them the best chance to win. I honestly think there's possibilities that they would be running him out there and like not even playing David Montgomery much at times in certain games, in certain environments where they just kind of get carried away. And you have Gibbs running like a 75% snap share because they think he gives them the best chance in that environment. If it's a fast-paced game or whatever,
games like that, yeah.
I mean, they're in go for it mode. I don't think they're going to restrain his role.
I mean, they have been complimentary of David Montgomery as well, and they have such different skill sets. And Montgomery, I don't think is very good, but he does some stuff. Like he's not complete dust or anything. Like he does what he does, and he runs between the tackles.
Yeah. No, he's fine.
So I think it could be definitely like someone who caps his Gibbs's snap share for his rookie season. And then I would also just note, like, in my profile of him, I mentioned that at the time he was an early 5th round pick on FFPC and going in the early 6th round on Underdog. So we are paying a lot more for Gibbs post him going 1st round, post him landing in this perfect landing spot. Like we did have to pay a premium for that new information. How much of a premium, like, are we willing to pay on it? Because
I'm willing to pay a premium for that particular landing spot. I don't think there was a better landing spot.
I mean, I'm willing to pay a premium, but I guess what I'm saying is like, if he gets a little more pricey than this,
I think I'll still be in.
We're on the clock. This is a running back zone as far as the best picks. You got Jamal, Tank.
I like
Bigsby,
Rashee Rice here as a luxury 6th wide receiver.
We could do that.
I'm in.
All right, let's do that. I think we're probably looking at a quarterback with our next pick. So that's going to put us in the Matthew Stafford, Jordan Love range. Those are the only stacking candidates we have with this team so far. Otherwise, we would need to build out a backdoor.
But we have Dak. Yeah. I mean, that works. Stafford's a nice one.
Stafford works great with that.
As long as we don't take Van Jefferson. Oh, he's off the board. Yes. Went ahead of Rashee Rice. What the hell? What I was going to say about like still being willing to chase Gibbs up is just he reminds me of Alvin Kamara landing with the Saints. And I feel like, and maybe I'm pattern matching a little bit. I missed on that. I knew that was such a perfect landing spot for a running back. And I still kind of like made these hem and haws and excuses. Yeah. And I was like, but his profile's not that great. And Gibbs' profile's elite. It's elite in exactly the way that matters. He's an amazing receiving running back. Like, I mean, one of the best receiving running back profiles we've ever seen, going into a spot where we know there's going to be a ton of running back targets. I mean, it feels like the Kamara thing, and I shouldn't even have any questions about the profile fit. And they used the 12th overall draft capital on him. And it's like, I don't want to make that mistake again.
What's crazy is Kamara was what, a 13th round pick?
Yeah,
that
12th,
year.
I think we took him in the 12th of that FFPC league.
But he was a smash late in the year, and that's because they had 3 backs. They brought in Adrian Peterson. They wound up cutting Peterson. They still had Mark Ingram. They had 3 guys. He was a 3rd round draft pick. Different scenario, 2-back system. 12.
As a rookie, he scored 19.7 PPR points per game.
That's crazy.
It's crazy good. It's crazy good.
Yeah, so
you'd be psyched about that in like the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Psyched. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think we probably should take Stafford here. There's no guarantees these guys come back around.
We'll build out that Rams Giants game stack by getting Demarcus Robinson late. Chat said Pete. The chat's on a roll. Said something about Pete. How do you feel about Gibbs? Me and Pat are definitely in full-on debate mode. How do you feel about him?
Dude, everyone gets to listen to me fucking talk my bullshit about these drafts all the time. This is a chance for you guys to get off your hot takes here.
Well, and I mean, you're definitely keeping us on track on the draft.
So
that's helpful.
I like Gibbs. I just like don't end up selecting him a lot for like structural reasons there where he's going. I'm about even with the field, 7.7%. I think I'm content being even with the field on Gibbs. Don't want to fade. I don't want to be super over on him. And it's like, even it goes back to the thing about how the market is now really pricing in the late season upside in the same way. No more Garrett Wilson's in the 12th. JSN goes in the 5th. No more Alvin Kamara's in the 12th. Jameer Gibbs goes in the 4th. Like even ETN as a rookie was like a mid to late 5th round pick. And now Gibbs is going a full round ahead there. And people were really excited about ETN. So you are paying a premium for the upside you're describing, when I completely agree it's there.
But 12th overall pick is different than where ETN went. True. And Harris was going,
is it
even higher?
ETN was a 1st round pick. Like, is it that different?
It was like 22nd. Yeah, I think it is.
It's top a running 20 back. And I don't think there's any difference. It's a running back who went about the top round.
20.
I know, but it's a running back. It's like,
I think top 20 running backs different than outside the top 20 when people say there's like usually 20 first round grades, and then it's a non-premium pick basically when you get into 22, 23. To take him, the opportunity cost of taking him at 12 is
he was a huge
materially
reach.
Different.
He was consensus that people thought he was going to go late first. The Lions reached for him. I don't know. It feels like we should give him credit for being a 1st round pick. I'm not really willing to be like, he was the 12th overall pick, and that changes my prior on him. The fact that he was a 1st round pick, I think, is important.
Yeah. All right, we're about to pick here at 164. Our team so far: Dak and Stafford at quarterback, running backs Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, Khalil Herbert. Our wide receivers: Kupp, Watson, Kirk, Mike Evans, Cooks, Rashee Rice, tight end Mark Andrews. Roshan, a pretty big faller here. If you guys want to double up on the Bears backfield, you could also grab Jaden Reed and see if you could somehow like push Jordan Love.
You could do Gainwell and double up on the Eagles too. I don't know. We could do.
I think I
Reed.
prefer
We could do
double
Spears
up on the Bears, but
Spears is available too.
I don't mind Spears either. Gretch.
I would be Roshan over Gainwell or Spears. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I'm just trying to read the tea leaves there and grabbed Roshan.
I like that.
I kind of like
Roshan, a pretty big faller there at 164.
Yeah. Screw it.
I think they can both have big opportunities, like big games, big situations, individual ceilings.
It's late enough too, where if we get something out of one of those guys, it's probably okay.
Yeah.
Real
quick, I've been wanting to hit on this because we've been getting questions about our high stakes managed leagues this year. I promised we were going to have an announcement for you guys soon. We are working to get all of this sorted. We are going to have high stakes drafts. We are going to be streaming them. We are going to be out in Vegas. We're just trying to get all of our ducks in a row, but that announcement will be very, very soon. So we'll keep you guys
ideally
posted.
Next Wednesday, right? We're going to try to get
Look at Chris's comment. Baccarat BBM3 winner.
When did I say that?
When you had your little spasm.
Yeah. You read it differently than I did it, so that I was like, I thought you were.
That's how I read that. Yeah, that's
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to do more Gibbs stuff, but
I was too. Sam Sherman pointed out that Kamara's like 20 pounds heavier. I was literally just talking about the player fit to an offense that is like so good for pass catching running backs. That's the key for me here is like some offenses are really good for pass catching backs. Some are not. And if you catch 60 balls, you are a fucking top 10 running back, period. Like that's just the way it works. Like, I don't care if it's half PPR. And I mean, Gibbs has upside then to be explosive beyond that. Anyway.
Yeah. My thing with Gibbs, where he's going, that makes it a little tough. And I'm at 7.1%. So it's kind of interesting. I have very similar to Pete. I have had him on a couple higher stakes stuff too. So I'm actually quite happy. Like, I like that. I like being slightly underweight, but like have a couple like bigger money teams on him. And it's like, all right, I'm basically even with the field overall. So I'll take that. But it's not like his price isn't the price in a vacuum. It's in a overall. Go ahead. Let's make this.
I'm a 3 quarterback slappy, so I do like Love stacked up with Watson, but I'm open to other ideas too.
When did the 3 QB slappy thing start? I'm in on that, by the way. That sounds great.
We could also do Hodgins as a bring back. On the
we're gonna have a ton of Giants options though too.
We can do the Love thing if you want to do that. That's fine with me.
Okay.
Have you always been a 3 QB slappy though?
No.
Is that new?
No, that's definitely new this year. I really like having 3 different stacks for the playoff weeks. If we don't have a top 100 quarterback, Dak Prescott at 1-on-1. Like Dak and Stafford isn't necessary. You can certainly roll out a 2 QB room with them based on the capital we spent, but it's not also a QB room that gives me a lot of warm fuzzies about our upside through 3 specific gauntlet tournaments.
That's fair. They're basically both pocket passers. That's a little unfair to Dak, but he hasn't run quite as much.
Yeah.
Recently. I was just going to say with Gibbs, like he's generally going at like the 3-4 turn-ish and maybe mid-4th in some drafts, but he's doing that in an environment where you can get like Saquon Barkley in the early 3rd in some drafts now, Josh Jacobs in the 3rd, Ramondre Stevenson could be in
for sure
a 3-4 turn pick. Breece Hall's mid-3rd. Like, you know, you can get Pollard late 2nd, Derrick Henry late 2nd, like Jonathan Taylor mid to late 2nd. Like, there is a lot of running back value this year. And to me, I'm like, let's be picky about it. Let's not be greedy and go running back value. Oh, fuck, my structures aren't working because I don't have enough firepower at the other position. You know, so I have to be. I'm being a little selective with Gibbs, maybe overly selective, but
I may be in too.
Like, I want the
guy. I guess I'm 21% on him. Like that's higher than I thought it would be. Honestly, he's not a guy that I've been crazy high on in my draft exposures. I'm high on him in like as a player. Obviously, I've talked about him for an hour.
To me, like I've been trying to get more Josh Jacobs actually, and I like that he's got this holdout situation, so I can get more of him. Because not that he has like the perfect path to legendary upside, but like he is like who's challenging this dude for touches? Like he's gonna have all the touches, and he's like good.
He came out running back 3 in my projections, and I was like, I gotta take some of him.
I gotta get more. Like, and you're not worried about age. He's young enough. Like he's just. I'm like, I don't have any questions. He's not like the most talented guy of these dudes, but he's not far off. Like he was very good last year, you know. And so when I'm looking at like Ramondre versus him, like I'm probably picking nits on Ramondre. or Gibbs a little bit, but it's like it's because I might literally be deciding between him and Josh Jacobs in that draft, or him and Breece Hall, who I think Breece Hall has the highest.
I'll take Jacobs over him every day of the week. Yeah. I'll take. My thought on Gibbs is the opportunity cost for most of the time where he's going is a lot different than most of the time where Jacobs is going, but that's not necessarily going to be true with the falling and stuff. So that is like with the other running backs falling, but so that is a fair point.
So we need with these last two picks, we need at least one more wide receiver, at least one more tight end, and then have some flexibility with the other pick there.
Tight end might make sense here because I love Mayer late, but he has a week 13 bye, and so when you have Andrews, you can't do that.
Well, we could grab the Giant because we have 10 seconds. Slayton.
You want Slayton or Hyatt?
I would be Slayton. What do you got, Pat?
I think I'd be Hyatt with this group because we're strong.
Okay. I'm cool with
right,
that.
we got like Cooks and Evans and Kirk. Like we're not worried about targets early on.
Yeah.
Shoot for the moon. So I like a lot of these guys. These tight ends. You were saying you like Mayer the most, but you don't.
I like Mayer. I like Mayer significantly more than most of these guys normally, but I'm glad we didn't take a tight end.
Do you guys ever take the swing on Ferguson? He does add out
because that's why I was kind of hinting that
we could grab him.
We could just grab Ferguson. Yeah, that's the move. The move was to take a wide receiver and get Ferguson.
I
like that.
One other, like if you're trying to dial up game stacks, like a move that I sometimes would do here would do Musgrave with Love and then grab like a Ty Chandler, bring back.
We have 2 more picks.
17.
Yeah, that's viable. With Andrews, I like taking Ferguson or Musgrave. Like we're banking on Andrews already.
Musgrave does go.
Musgrave goes.
Paul,
I don't really take Musgrave, man. It's kind of, I don't know. Tucker Kraft seems like just as good of a prospect to me.
Ferguson goes one pick ahead of us. We got to pick another tight end.
Yeah.
Oh man. Conklin is like a viable
we might as well just take Conklin. He's fine.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Ferguson,
or Hunter Henry is a viable standalone to me too. I'd take too much of him.
We could do Parker and then Henry and do like a little Patriots thing.
You're now Parker over Thornton, Pat.
I didn't see that Thornton was available.
We could have taken Thornton.
Well, you got him.
Whoa!
Good move,
dude.
That was quick. That was really quick.
That was insane. As someone who just streamed 7 drafts and tried that several times and never got it, every time I tried it, it always
nimble fingers.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Too much practice. Too much practice.
That was amazing. Now Henry's 100% going. So who are we taking? Logan Thomas? We're gonna be out of time. Everyone's going 4 tight ends.
No, you can always take like Kate Otten or something. You can't really get locked out.
It's basically impossible to get boxed out at tight end.
You can also just take Mayer and eat the week 13 bye, and Mayer might be a fucking smash in the 18th, and who cares?
I like that. That's a good point.
Like, oh no, week 13 bye. I have become more of a bye week bro. Denny's had a really rough week. He the frisbee miss came up on stream.
Is that why that was starting to?
That's why that came back around because the interception. Because I floated the theory that Denny threw an interception last summer in the flag football game to bury the Frisbee situation, which was worse because the Frisbee situation, you had a perfect throw and then he missed it.
Dude, that was such a good throw from so fucking far.
From so far, and it was beautiful. It's a great throw, man. I recommend people. It's resurfaced on Twitter. Go check it out.
I want to see that again. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we should pull it up, Pete. You should just.
Yeah, we can pull it up after.
We got to watch that.
But then Denny threw the interception, and I think he may have done that to cover it up. Then he came out saying he didn't like. I think you should leave. Apparently, he's out in Seahawks uniform, so it's been a rough week. But with that in mind, I do want to give Denny credit for another amazing video where he did the bye week best ball bros reviewing your team. It's incredible work. It's incredible work.
It's so good. I've been working on my script for Best Ball Bros 2023. I have another video I need to get out first, but there's so much fodder to work with this year.
Did you how shocked are you? Because you probably have more fodder than ever. Like there's so many more terms.
they're going to be almost entirely new characters too. Like there's a whole new genre of best ball bro characters to do.
By the way, the some of the best ball bro stuff is like aged pretty well. Like their takes have aged pretty well.
So I think this is probably Henry, right? Because we took.
I think Henry or Mayer.
If
How
you
much do you
want
care
to
about the bye week? I would rather do Mayer and eat the bye week and just.
I think Henry's objectively a better pick than Mayer.
Okay, all right.
Then
let's go Henry.
It is funny because with the best ball bro, like, because I have that as the intro, for my streams, and I keep thinking like, oh, I need to, like, these are going to feel really dated, but a lot of the jokes kind of hold up because I feel like a lot of the stuff we were like that was on the bleeding edge last year or whatever is now just like what everyone talks about this year. Yeah. So it actually got a year ahead of it with the jokes. So now I need to get the 2024 ones recorded now.
Exactly. Yeah. There's one that's like, it's something like, I can't, it's the Davis, Zach Ertz, Tyler Algier bring back. But the way you do it is like, I can't really get on board with Zach Ertz without the Tyler Algier bring back, which is so perfect because Algier is the one who smashed. So like not having the bring back was a problem. Like the best ball bro is right. Like you should have the bring back.
Oh man.
It's so good.
All right. This team is in the books. 3-5-8-2 build. Dak, Matthew Stafford, Jordan Love at quarterback. Running backs, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson. Wide receivers, Cooper Kupp, Christian Watson, Christian Kirk, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, Rashee Rice, Jalen Hyatt, Tyquan Thornton. Tight ends, Mark Andrews and Hunter Henry. Feels like a solid squad to me, fellas.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
Is our running back situation good enough? We've done this before, but
I think so.
Should we have taken a sixth? No. Oh, David Montgomery actually is a really nice pick on this team. I didn't realize we had Montgomery because I'd never take him. But that's
also when we do like a Herbert Roshan type thing, to me that also makes me want to take less running backs because I'm like I'm just like hitting for a single. My other picks are smashes now. I know that, and I just need one of those two to kind of fill in, do a little thing, and that sixth is better spent somewhere else.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I think what we're really trying to do is just recreate. Pat's team, right? Because we got the 3 quarterbacks. I guess we don't have the double anchor RB. We do have the 2 running backs from the same backfield. We got Mike Evans instead of Godwin. Tyquan Thornton, again, 1 elite tight end and 1 punt scratch off. I mean, there's some of the fingerprints.
Did you have Hunter Henry? Oh, no, that was
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah.
Who was playing.
Wait, you had Mike Gesicki and you still hate him. You've always hated him. That's the only guy from your winning team that you didn't magically start liking. You still hate Mike Gesicki.
And Tyquan Thornton, I still don't magically like that much. Although I'm okay with him. I'm okay. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't like him, and I'm okay with him. So, yeah. No, Gesicki is the one. And Gesicki scored a touchdown in Week 17 and I would have been fine with him in my lineup instead of Kittle. So, he came through, and I still like him.
I didn't want to pass on Thornton at 197 is really nice. The other thing, though, I think we could have justified was doing Ty Chandler as the 6th running back, too, as like a little bring back with the Love Watson stuff if we did want to go for that 6th running back.
I think that's sacrificing structure a bit for the correlation.
Pete,
you don't think you could get away with 7 wide receivers in this room?
You could get away with it, but I just think Thornton is a much stronger pick with this wide receiver room then. I just don't think we need Chandler. I'm always trying to break ties to like Thornton is pretty easy to see how he has a spike week and the right week.
You don't have to sell me on Thornton. It's more just if we get Love and Watson going crazy in Week 17, it would be nice to have a Minnesota piece.
For sure. Yeah, it's just like Thornton is, if he's healthy, he's not going to be a dead roster spot. Chandler, we don't need the running back, and like he's got pretty high dead roster spot odds, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about this a little bit this morning too, with the same dynamic with Chase Brown and Travion Williams too, where it's like Ty Chandler now gets drafted in 100% of these, and like it still could be McBride, in 17.
Honestly, this sounds nuts, but it could be Kene Nwangwu. Like it honestly could. He's their starting kick returner. He's fucking fast. We've never really seen Ty Chandler do anything.
Well,
or it could be Kareem Hunt.
And Nwangwu wasn't heavily used in college either.
No, he wasn't at all. But he's really fast, and he's
never
one of
had
the
more than
active on game.
61 carries or more than 64 offensive touches in a college season.
Well, guess what, Ben? It's called having tread on the tires, dude.
I mean, there's a reason Ty Chandler got, a lot more work than that in college.
I'm just saying, we really don't know with that backfield. So,
do you know what was nice about this team is generally like if we're in our crazy piss boy rooms, you're having to reach for the wide receivers, but then you get pretty good running back value. We got pretty nice running back value. Montgomery a full round after ADP, Penny a full round after ADP, Herbert a half round, Roschon a full round. And then you look at our wide receiver selections. Kirk was after ADP, Evans at ADP. I guess Cooks was just a teeny reach there at the wide receiver cliff. But otherwise, we didn't actually have to get too ahead on anything other than really the Dak pick.
We were
and I like that we went Cooks.
Receivers
Cooks.
we didn't love. Yeah,
I
did too.
Because we had our like let's snatch some value out of the room at running back. And instead of getting it with Sanders, we got it with Montgomery. And I think that fit what ended up happening with the room quite a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But like Kirk and Watson were both picks I don't think any of us were jumping over the moon for, but also we're pretty like by ADP, where I think when we were picking, we're sort of in their own tier, like 5 picks ahead of the other receivers. And it's like, all right, well, let's just take the guy that's a decent value.
Yeah. Who did people want? Some people wanted to get sauced here. Ryan, Joe Burrow and Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G.
Oh my God. So you got 1.5 quarterbacks. We're off to a good start.
That's anytime you can reach for the Chiefs' 4th running back too, that's a good start. Is this the all Leone team? Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Derek McKinnon, Jamal Williams.
Those guys were all very relevant 5 years ago.
I do like your wide receivers, so it's nice that you got.
I'm super distracted. Sam Sherman's talking about Travis Homer in the chat, and I'm just like, Travis Homer, what?
Wait, did someone
Travis Homer?
Travis Homer?
No, he's saying that Roschon Johnson's going to be a healthy scratch for Travis Homer.
I made this case on the pod with Leone that Homer does play a lot of special teams. When I went to
Oh no,
yeah. And they gave him a decent contract. They are going to play him, but I think they're going to just have 4 running backs active. They're not going to deactivate Roschon all year.
Hey Ryan, your team's less interesting than Travis Homer. Sorry.
No, Bo Sox wants a little sauce. Watson, Russell Wilson, Purdy. Wish I could make fun of you for going 3 quarterbacks with these 2, but then that's just what we did. Mixon, Akers, Brian Robinson, Ford, Mostert.
That's the most boring running back room I've ever seen.
It's so boring.
I've been in on Cam Akers, but those are just fucking boring players. Like, have someone fun. Live a little. Like enjoy your life a little bit.
Objectively, Jerome Ford is your most fun player, and I could not pick him out of a lineup.
Right.
I have no idea.
What he looks like.
I don't know what he looks like. And he's by far your most fun player in your running back room.
No, Bo Sox did say in the chat, and it's fun to look at this. So he was sweating the Conklin. So we had Conklin right there until the last second with Tyquan Thornton because he really wanted Conklin as his Deshaun Watson stack bring back. So glad we could facilitate that for you there.
I like that. That's a nice.
Ryan's saying we Ty spiced him. We went a little too strong there. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what do they say? You can't handle the sauce, right?
That's more sauce than I was looking for, honestly.
By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't say we do have our new Piss Boy merch in the store now. I got those links in the description. We got this in the tank too. If you guys want it in something else, if you want T-shirts or whatever,
the Piss Boy bucket hat really does sort of.
Look at the drip.
That looks great.
Look at that.
It's evocative. It's an evocative move.
I think I might become a bucket hat guy. And it just really, it dawned on us too. When I think I was on Lulz with Brian, and you have the draft capital buckets, and you're like, if you win bucket 1 for wide receivers. So you're the Piss Boy bucket 1 bucket hat. Really all came together.
I just thought it, kind of covered you if someone's pissing all over your head.
Yeah, that too. Piss girl merch. This is gender neutral, Stephanie.
I love wide receivers.
This is also piss women here. There's nothing on this hat that signifies where this piss is coming from. Could be.
We thought this through. We
it
made
could
it
be
gender
girl
neutral.
on girl. It could be girl on boy. It could be boy on girl. It could be anything.
Whoever wants to piss away.
Piss.
Girl on girl piss. That's where we're at. in this part of the show.
Piss individuals.
Don't Google that, but Google the frisbee throw. That's what we gotta check out before we go.
Gender
Piss
fluid. There you
individuals,
go.
piss people. Thank you.
I think
And
gender
had to
fluid
talk-
is the winner.
If we could do a little behind the curtain here. Gretchen, Pat will attest. We've been working on this merch design for like literally 2 months. There's been lots of back and forth with our designer. There's been lots of storyboarding and creative ideation with this. And basically the main thing is no one actually wants to wear merch that explicitly shows someone pissing, but yet you also want to be true to the piss individual brand. I'm happy with how this came out after months of work.
Yeah,
I am too. I mean, the wide receiver, we were like, we want the wide receiver to be, it's sort of if you know sort of situation where, is it a cool wavy pattern that we picked? Maybe. Is it literally written in piss? Yes, it is. That is what we're going for.
Duke
it's a little bit viscous at the end of the day, but
we talked viscosity.
We talked a lot about viscosity.
Viscosity was actually discussed. There was a point too where like I was sending back mock-ups to Gretch and Pat, and like you guys are writing these really long paragraphs, and they were very thoughtful. And I was like, I have to go back to my designer and ask for more viscosity, like
less viscosity.
Oh my god. Duke says if he finishes top 10 in BBM, I'll buy the whole collection. I'll hold you up on this because I use a drop shipper and they have a warehouse full of these. So you would just keep buying these forever because I don't know if it's possible for them to run out. So I'm going to hold you up on that. Oh my goodness here.
Sorry about your winning.
Get the frisbee up. I want to see
let's do that.
Thing. So to give backstory to this was, I think this was 2 summers ago. We on Cape Cod, a few of us got a place for the weekend. Pat Thorman, Denny, John Daigle, Reeves, and it was on like a bluff that overlooked the beach. And so we were down at the beach, but then we were up at our place, and Denny was down there, and we had decided, like, I had just done the randomizer frisbee, so I had those. I was like, we should throw the frisbee off there and see if we can catch it. And that should set it up. Let me see if I can find this in my mentions where this was. And people do comment on the quality of the video. There are some like very grainy versions of this, but Rich has a good version here. Here we go. Denny's my wide receiver.
This is amazing. There's so many. There's just like random people in chairs you could have hit. There's so much risk here.
I love it. Jogging.
Come on.
All right, we're about to attempt a long distance throw to my wide receiver 1, Denny Carter here. He's down here. This can only end badly. We got a little tailwind. Here we go. Ready, Denny?
I mean, what a throw.
Hell of a throw.
Oh, that might actually work. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Why is this
no.
suffering? Come on.
Denny. Yes. Denny.
Oh, he's gonna drink.
Oh, so good.
Yes. Denny.
Die.
Oh no.
Die.
Oh, he's gonna drink.
Oh. Denny.
I would never have a throw that good in my life. It was just right there.
Oh, dude. And I mean,
Almost got it. Almost got it.
Oh,
not to knock the randomizer merch, but I went and played with that frisbee with my kids in the wind, and it was so hard to throw it. We had to go buy one of the more heavy duty frisbees to play.
Well, the merch just got knocked. I'm not selling it.
I don't know how.
I'm just saying, like, to throw that frisbee that far is, oh man. It's a little bit of a lighter duty frisbee. You can see it, and for big time frisbee.
I like how you just went from you about to throw it to Denny in the water sad.
I will say I hate to do this because Denny's had such a rough week with some of these bad takes, but in Denny's defense, there was a ton of these like rock croppings out here.
Yeah, he talked about the rocks, how he couldn't dive because of the rocks. But look how close he was. Come on, but look. Okay, so he's by this little cropping of rock or whatever it is. It's the second time he's by that. So he misjudged the arc.
The other thing to not underestimate is like how far like Denny came to like get to this spot. Like at the beginning of the video,
Fair.
like he's
that's a lot. That's a run.
It's a long run in the sand.
Yeah.
He sells out for it in that regard for sure. It's just, man, you sell out that much, you get that close. I didn't know about the rock croppings. That's a key piece of content.
He said his adrenaline was pumping. He was in the moment. He was definitely going for it, and
he goes after. I mean, he starts taking off right here, like he's dead sprint at this moment, and he's like, "Oh, I got this! I got this!"
No. That's when.
Ow! It just turns on him.
Here's a question: if it didn't carry into the water and Denny stayed on land, do you think he lays out for it on the sand?
I think if he had stopped and was to the side. If he doesn't overrun it, he might have had to dive to the side, and I think he might have dove that way because he's not having to dive head first. The only option he had was to like lay out like this into rocks, which is understandable why I didn't do that.
I still can't believe how far you threw that piece of shit frisbee. I mean, that really good frisbee.
I'm like 4 football fields away. Pete throws it right at the rock.
Dude, how did you get that much carry? It's insane.
It's a hell of a throw.
Yeah, I mean, well, someone needs to restore the good name of the quality of these frisbees after the Gretsch family.
Is AI good enough to make him catch it? Because I would just want to see. It's so sad when he doesn't. I would love to see a version of Denny catching it. I just wanted to. I want that moment to exist.
I think it would be fun if like Denny and if I just fly Denny up to the Cape and we just go down there, we just try to recreate this.
Yeah.
And just
oh my god! I would guess it would take you a lot of throws to get close.
Yeah, I would say it's more on you than Denny, like to get that throw again.
I feel more confident in my abilities than I do.
All right. I mean, it was a good throw. That's a normal throw for you. Congratulations.
Well, you have stories of what was it? Was it last summer or 2 summers ago? You played flag football with Denny at the Expo.
It was last summer.
Well, you've got to play one snap with him.
I get to play like exactly one offensive snap with Denny.
He threw a pick, and that was it.
He threw an immediate pick into double coverage, I believe. And
the rules were they only got one possession.
He locked in on Rotopat from the very jump. You know, Rotopat was his first, second, and third read on that play. So he did follow his progression and then probably threw an interception.
Rotopat's got the elite athleticism, so that why wouldn't you lock it on? He's going to go.
To be fair, the pass rush was pretty fierce. Oh wait, no, there's no pass rush in flag football.
Did you see? Oh, by the way, I gotta show this. The ship chasing Discord tonight is popping and has been, but I gotta pull up a few things that were in there. So KZ got a clip of Doherty doing the W on your stream.
I had technical difficulties, Gretsch.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but he's got Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Got Nothing to Fuck With as the background track to this.
He gave me that to draft Rashad White.
That's so good because it looks like he's saying pass catcher, like W and catch the ball.
Exactly. So he did this. So it was Rashad White. It was Isaiah Pacheco in the queue with Rashad White next. So then I put White ahead, and I was like, okay, it seems like they're good with that. My headphones still weren't working. Then he threw that up, and I was like, fuck, they want a pass catcher. That probably means they don't want White. So I might as well just take the highest ADP running back because I have no chance of figuring out which pass catcher. And they just wanted White. That's a W for White.
And you took Pacheco?
Yeah, took Pacheco.
And Kevin already has your freak out earlier tonight.
Yes, that's exactly what it looked like.
Oh my goodness.
We gotta get this. That's actually scary.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
All right. Incredible stuff. I know you guys want more drafts. Like I said earlier, we're going to have more announcements soon about our plan for the rest of drafting season. Excited to do some high stakes managed leagues. We're going to have more updates on that. Like I said, we will be in Vegas. We're going to be having a party on Friday night. So any of you ship chasers that are going to be out there doing high stakes drafts, we will have more info on that soon. And Pat's
but it is happening. That's party. We're not like, oh, it might happen, it might not. It's happening. Friday night, ship chasing party in Vegas.
Pizza party.
Pat, are you going to take individual pizza topping requests? Everyone.
I need to listen. I have yet to connect with the Pizza Connect that Mike Shope sent over. So that's something I've got to do.
Do you guys remember this triple pepperoni? Oh man, I want to say Barnwell tweeted about it a couple of years ago.
A triple
in
Barnwell.
Vegas. It's like a $60 pizza. I'm thinking that's what we got to do.
Let's do it. I'm game. We can do whatever. We're doing a pizza party, guys. It's a pizza party, ship chasing party.
Yep. And I know some of the ship chasers are getting in on Wednesday
no hoagies
night.
is the question in the chat.
What's that?
I don't know. Maybe no hoagies from Brandon?
That was a bit from. I said I was going to throw a sub party where everybody gets a hoagie when I win it. So yeah.
Good pie in downtown Vegas. Triple pepperoni pizza. We're doing it.
There we go. Yes, and this you will. Ryan says if we're not going to Vegas, can we Venmo request Pat for our Grubhub bill? Yeah, Pat is paying for the entire community.
It depends how many people get a hold of my Venmo, but we'll see.
All right, yeah, become YouTube members so you guys can enjoy gifts of Pat spazzing out. Get your I love wide receiver individual merch. Gretch, anything else going on in the stealing signals realm? I know you've been doing some awesome podcasts with Sean.
I'm just working through my divisions, off-season stealing signal stuff, signal and noise from each team. Wrote about the Colts for like multiple hours today. Your typical ridiculously over the top length posts coming on division by division, team by team. Yeah.
Love it. Pat, what about you?
I'm going to be back writing tomorrow, finishing up my series on running backs. I'm going to have another strategy article that I have kind of started a little bit, probably early next week. And yeah, got 7-hour stream. If you're looking to fill some time, go watch this.
Audio listeners, you elitists, service us.
I just, I think I am servicing the audio listeners by not putting a 7-hour stream on the podcast feed. That is my gift to the audio listeners.
Can I read you? Can I read you a comment from my the Best Ball Breakfast, sir? So one of our fine community members said, 5 hours in the Pat mega stream, and the man has no idea how to service a YouTube audio listener. Draft after draft, I was left unserviced and unsatisfied, forgetting picks as soon as they were made, left with vague contours of each position room. Pete tried to coach him up, but there was no saving the common lower-class audio listener from this apathetic millionaire.
That was great.
So good.
That was so good.
He just buried me. The other thing is, Pete had to focus on just getting me to service the viewer because I kept forgetting to put the board up. So, I mean, don't worry, audio listeners. The viewers didn't have a great experience.
I mean, your co-managers were trying to be serviced, just trying to figure out who we were picking.
I was just, I wasn't servicing anyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, someone said we only have 9 likes on this stream. None of you guys get pizza if you don't like the stream.
Show the pizza.
Way more than 9 likes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pull this up, Gretch. What do we got here?
This is the triple pep right here.
This won't be the only thing we get. It's
$46 pizza.
Definitely concern because we will need some vegetarian options as well.
Triple pep is what I've been calling my hyper fragile builds this year. Yeah, I started out with the triple pep.
Yeah.
All right. Tough crowd. All right, everybody, tip your servers. Have a great night.